Yes. There's a couple of things you always have to pay attention to, and that's your audio. This is Delta Tango Mike. I'm here for a few minutes. Want to make this video short, like 10 minutes or so, and I want to talk about my workflow in the vector artwork workflow that I have figured out for myself that works best with some of the tools that are out there, including Adobe Fresco and Adobe Illustrator. So as I'm talking, I want to make sure that I have some audio, and I'm waiting for that to happen because, you know, technology and how technology is. There it is. There we go. Come on. Come on. There it is. Okay, good. So we're good to go. So basically, I'm a 2D illustrator who likes to work in vector art. The reason for that is a lot of my clients need the artwork to scale up beyond just the web or beyond a poster or a flyer. We're talking about branding for clothing, for banners, for billboards, for everything that relates to a business and a brand. And so that means that in order to have good, clean, looking artwork in whatever size, vector is the best option. However, vector artwork is been around for a while in Adobe Illustrator, and including a few programs from a long time ago. But right now, Adobe Illustrator has been around for 30 years, and that's where we jump on to do some of this artwork. Mobile apps and mobile devices have allowed us the chance to draw while we're out and about. And I have my iPad over here, and I don't feel like grabbing it. In any case, the point is that as time's gone on, people have developed ways to working with vector in various devices. My experience, as I detail it in the description of this video, has to do more with how do I use a device that I have handy before jumping into the computer. And my experience started with just Illustrator over 18 years ago. I started with Adobe Illustrator. And so the pen tool and all the tools in Adobe Illustrator are very familiar to me. However, the iPad has been around for some years, and ever since the iPad came out, I wanted to draw in the iPad. And of course, it's been a long time coming, but there's a ton of apps now available that allow you to draw on the iPad. And Adobe Fresco is one of those apps that allow you to draw on the iPad with vector brushes. There's a few other programs out there, and before Adobe Fresco, it was Adobe Ideas, Adobe Line, Adobe Illustrator Draw, and then Adobe Fresco. And so I want to talk about that Adobe Fresco to Adobe Illustrator, because if you have a membership in the Creative Cloud, then you're part of the creatives who are using Adobe products, and you should know how to maneuver between those two programs in an easy way that it lets you keep adding things into your workflow and make it real easy for you. The thing I like about Adobe Fresco, let me go ahead and switch my screen. The thing I like about Adobe Fresco is that Adobe Fresco is a very limited, simple program that allows you to start some drawings in either the iPad or the Surface. And right now I'm on the Surface, and this is the Surface Pro 5. I usually use the Surface Pro 7 or the Pro 5. And move into from either the iPad or the Surface into Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to show you that, and if you guys have some questions, please leave it in the comments. And if not, get in touch with me. I am Delta Tango Mike on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, and then I am The Creative Genius on Behance and LinkedIn. So let's go ahead and get started with something new, right? So let's go right there, boom, something simple, just to the point, because I got a ton of artwork, and it's gonna be they're kind of heavy because I get really busy when it comes to vector brushes. So Adobe Fresco has 3 different types of brushes, and so these are pixel brushes, these are live brushes, and then these are vector. And these are the ones we want, right? The vector brushes. And you'll notice they have different bunch of brushes inside of the options here for each brush, right? There's a ton of options for the kind of different brush that you want. The 2 favorites that I use all the time is going to be either the basic round, which basically looks round, right? So it has round ends. And then there's the basic taper. So the basic taper does that. This is the brush that I started learning with, learning Adobe Line and then Adobe Illustrator Draw with. And at first, when you first came across those Adobe apps, the everybody is asking, well, why can't we do Illustrator stuff on these mobile apps? And that's because it's not the same machine and not the same process for that the device allows for you to use Adobe Illustrator. So what really happened, and I don't know this, I don't ever talk to any engineers about it, so I'm just making up my own theories about, is that this is just a way for you to start an illustration in a mobile device and then move into the real computer. It's not meant to be the one and be all, even though there's a lot of artists who have created full complete illustrations and finished all the way inside Adobe Draw, Adobe Line, Adobe Ideas, and Adobe Fresco. Me, I feel like we're not going to have the same tools that we have in Illustrator because this is not meant to be an Illustrator copy. This is more of adding a mobile device into the workflow. So here we go. Let's go ahead. So now there's settings here that I like. So they're basic round. All right. So what you do is you have the harder you press, the thicker the line gets. Okay, cool. You can always turn that off. Pressure dynamics. And now, no matter how hard you press, you get the same line weight. So let me go ahead and make something simple so that we can see. So it's going to be me. There we go. Usually my beard is a little bigger than this, right? So let's go like that. And there's a paint bucket, so let's use the paint bucket. Let's zoom in. Paint bucket, and let's just draw a little bit more. Boom, there you go. And I'm gonna move this up here like that. There it is. Make a new layer and draw another part. A thumb, some fingers. Boom, another layer. And if you check out my live streams and even Behance portfolio, you'll see a ton of process videos and workflows so that you get familiar with what I'm doing right here, right now. I use different layers to work on different parts of a drawing. Oh, this way. There you go. So that way, like when I'm erasing that line, it doesn't get caught up in the other lines that are next to it, because even though they look like they're next to it, they're on different layers. There we go. Boom. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead, another layer. And I like working with a ton of layers. There's an artist on Twitter, Instagram. His name is Mexifunk, and he says, I'm looking at the time, I need to be less than 10 minutes. He says that layers are free. So oh man, I'm already at 9 minutes. That's crazy. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this drawing. Put a finger up. Boom. Oof. Let's go like this. There. What's up? Let's do a little shoulder, a little arm. Do the forearm. There you go. Boom. Over there. Look over there. Word. Now I can play with this a little bit more. Boom. Boom. There you go. Oh, yeah. And because we're here, I can erase a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit. There it is. Done. All right, cool. So what's more important is the fact that we have a drawing. There's several layers. We're good to go. What we can do here in Adobe Fresco is stack these layers, put them in a group. Now I can resize the whole thing. There it is. Done. New layer. Go ahead and turn that pressure dynamics back on. Turn down the size and go like this. Right? Because you have to sign all your work. Done. Okay, Dan, we're here. Now what? So here's what's amazing, right? Here is what it's all about. Let's pretend you have a ton of layers, a ton of color. Everything looks beautiful and wonderful. Now you're ready to jump into Illustrator, or you want the Illustrator file. Adobe Fresco allows you to export in several different file types. None of them are Illustrator. Nope, SVG. So the next best thing you have is PDF, right? So you can call it something. Call it, I'm just going to call it DTM. That's my name, Delta Tango Mike. So I'm going to export. DTM, there it is. I'm going to put it here in Fresco. Boom, there it is. Save it. So I just exported the PDF. If you're on the iPad, you would export and jump into your Dropbox or any other cloud-based app. So I'm done with that. You can also do a time-lapse export if you want to, if you care about those things. I should have just told you about it and I clicked on it because it takes a second. There, let's export it. Boom, there it is. DTM V1. Done it. Saved. Cool. Now, of course, when you go back out to the house or to the home screen, Creative Cloud is going to sync. So I have problems with this computer, but there it goes. It just synced. This is my document. I can change the name of it here if I want to, or I can change the name of this document inside of Fresco. So there it is, right? So DTM. Done. Save. So basically, the Adobe Fresco saves a copy inside of Adobe Fresco, but it also saves a copy to the Creative Cloud. So when you open Photoshop, you'll see all of these files. They're not ready for Illustrator to do that. However, that's why I go through the PDF, so that when I save a copy to myself in my regular folder system, then I can open Illustrator and get that PDF. Eventually, you'll be able to see all your Creative Cloud documents here also, or there'll be an option where you can do that, and you can do that in Photoshop. You see them in Photoshop all the time. So now I do open, find the Adobe, it's called Fresco. Boom. There it is, the PDF. Check it out. Check this out. Boom, there it is. And there are some things that we have to adjust, as with any PDF that you bring in from a mobile application. And that includes Procreate and Affinity Designer. Is that inside of each layer there is a clipping path, and I just get rid of them. I don't need those. And the more layers you have, the more clipping paths you have. So it's a lot of work. But it's very simple things to do. Just get rid of it. You could also just click on the screen and you'll find them and get rid of that. No worries. There they are. Check this out. Click and drag. All vectors. Oh, it looks like I missed one. Here it is. I just deleted it right there. Boom. There it is. All vectors. That's it. There's your anchor points. There they are. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, I mean to expand, but there it is. So now let's go ahead and do the view outline. Boom. There it is. Those are your anchor points. Those are your vectors, and you're inside of Illustrator. And all you did was draw in Fresco, do all the things that you need to do with Fresco, and you can see that I got tons of artwork. Very intense artwork, and if you check out my live streams on Behance, Facebook, or YouTube, you'll see that I get crazy with it. Look at all these layers. These are just, and these layers have other layers inside of them. Hold on, this one. There we go. Boom. There we go. For every color I use in this illustration, there's a layer, and so tomorrow I'm going to come back to Behance and continue drawing these. However, what I'm trying to make is that no matter what you draw, no matter what you create, you can jump right into Fresco, create the artwork that you need to create. It's all scalable. So you look at that, big time scalable. And then export as a PDF, open in Illustrator, boom, vector art in Illustrator. Boom, there it is. And I can then do whatever I want. Look at this. Bam, bam. And I can do as many as I want, make as many as I want, do whatever I want, because this is the workflow that I found that works for me when trying to draw designs and illustrations, that I want them to have a very organic look to them. And of course, you know, I can do the pen tool all day long. I'm all about the pen tool. But when you want some organic looking artwork, you can use either the blob brush, here it is, the blob brush, boom, and draw, or just if you got access to Fresco, go on and jump on Fresco, do your artwork, Boom, kick it out as a PDF. Boom, Illustrator, vector points, anchor points. It's an Illustrator file, vector, and now you're there. If you have any questions, please tag me in your work. I am Delta Tango Mike. I go live on Behance very often, and I show my process. I talk about my work. I talk about what inspires me, why I do it, and I show a lot of the tools that help me create the artwork that I create. I am Delta Tango Mike. That is DTM on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. The Creative Genius on, I have to think about those sometimes, LinkedIn and Behance. But I'm always around. All right, tag me in your work. Let me see what you're working on. Let's talk about it. And hopefully you find the tools to help you do your work in the way that you enjoy it, have fun, and master the tools that are going to give you a greater chance of fulfilling that creative part of yourself. Talk to you later. Till next time. Peace out.